Hello everyone, this is my first ever playthrough of Final Fantasy Online, and let's have fun today. Let's get into it. See you there. I'm not dang no out or anything like that. So. Yeah, it's like literally telling me all my gears at 0% now.
The tales do not do you justice, warrior of light. Yes, I know who you are, and you know who I am. I was given the name Izel, but I earned the name Iceheart. This endless cycle of hatred, of bloodshed, of sorrow. You would see it continue, O noble warrior of light. I would not. I will not. I will bring an end to this war between dragon and man, no matter the cost. In time, you will come to understand that what we do for the greater good. For Eorzea, for Hydaelyn.
Damn. That took longer than I expected. What news, Demon Lord? So Iceheart is but a pseudonym, not that it matters. That she managed to escape is regrettable, but from your description of that beast, you did well to come as close as you did. In any case, now that you have cleared a path, the Temple Knights can begin to survey the tunnels in earnest. Mayhaps they will even find a route past the ice wall. Wouldn't that do wonders for their fight against the heretics? The Crystal Braves would certainly share the credit for it too, which well be praised, Demon Lord. We may yet turn this situation to our advantage. Assuming we stop Iceheart before the summons Chifa, of course. Needless to say, our fellow Scions have not been idle. Minfilia and Oranger have been busy pursuing the archives of House Fortemp, gathering what information they can on Shiva. Which reminds me, if you were intending to trudge back to Camp Dragonhead to report on this day's event, don't. The Ascendant should be here any minute. I can assume some people enjoy subjecting themselves to this cold. And we're level 58. Let's go. And Descendant, and come to us straight from the archives of House Fortemp. I trust your time there proved fruitful. With that it had. Oranger and I scoured countless texts, but we found was of questionable veracity. Accounts of Shiva's life and deeds are sparse and contradictory, only agreed upon one point. She lay down with a dragon, the gravest of all sins according to the Ishgardian faith. Yet, in the eyes of Iceheart's followers, that this was a holy act, the blessed union of man and dragon. How such a thing could be possible is quite another question. Suffice it to say, I very much doubt that we will find a useful answer in the archives of House Fortems. Much knowledge has been lost over the centuries, though in this case one wonders if it is by circumstance or design. You said that Iceheart took a moment to plead her case prior to escaping, did you not? Viewed without prejudice, most would agree that bringing an end to an endless war serves the greater good. I think Sir Amirtik might take issue with her methods. I do not care if a few stranglers manage to escape until the sappers confirm that the tunnel is safe. The men are not to search it. Yes, Lord Commander. You pursue your foes with less zeal than I had expected, Sir Meritic. Lest you misunderstand, I do not deny that our enemy has given us good reason to be prudent. I merely meant, you being a man of faith, that I had expected a certain single-mindedness after all. Was it not by the will of the Helone that your ancestors came to this land, why they took up arms against the Dravians? What would they have done in your position, I wonder? There are those who believe that faith is a renunciation of free will, that unquestioning devotion is required of all who would live a life in service to the Fury. Such righteous fervor may well serve a knight on the front line, less so a leader of men. We are all at the liberty to interpret the scriptures as we will. I choose to believe that the Fury would value the lives of her followers over the deaths of her enemies. But I would not presume to speak for the Knights of Eld. 'Twas a different time, nay, a different era. The scriptures tell us only so much. Would that it told us more. That man is awfully pragmatic for a servant of the Holy See. A welcome trait at a negotiation table, to be sure, less so when one's enemies are making ready to harness the power of a god. Mayhap he does not truly believe that Iceheart's plan can succeed. Truth be told, I too remain somewhat skeptical. Trivia was real, a living, breathing woman, of that there can be no doubt. In this respect, she differs from other figure to have been summoned, each of whom was worshipped as a god, the sole expectation of being good Mughal Mog, the myth made manifest in response to the fervent supplications of the Mughals' guard. Saint Shiva may differ, but what of the heretics? They are a tribe of outcasts, at war with a mighty nation, who yearn for the resurrection of one who embodies their beliefs. If that is not placing one's faith in the highest power, then what is? Crystals and conviction, Menphilia, they have both in abundance. Can that truly be all that is required? My survey team has concluded a preliminary analysis of the Aetheryte Iceheart used to escape. They believe that she teleported to another Aetheryte somewhere not far to the west. Despite the apparent proximity of the second Aetheryte, however, they have been wholly unable to detect its presence directly. Unless Iceheart has some means to mask its signal, I can only presume she had it destroyed to prevent us from following her. Without the means to teleport as she did, we have no choice but to search an alternate route, most likely a tunnel, assuming one exit. Let us not give up on teleportation just yet. One of our colleagues and Charlene may be able to assist us. I pray that you are right. I dare not think how long it will take us to survey the entire tunnel system. That's sweet. We'll be right back. Oh, maybe not. When Minophilia looks into the Aetheryte problem, I would like to request your assistance with another matter. The third unit is currently tracking the remnants of the heretic force which attacked us. However, the search goes poorly despite our numbers. Orpheus is vast, and Iceheart's followers know the terrain far better than we. Your knowledge of this region may serve us to hasten our process. The sooner we capture Iceheart's followers, the sooner we can press them for their leader's whereabouts. Also, though it is admittedly a selfish request, I feel that my braves would benefit immensely from working alongside you. While we have our share of veterans, we also have more than a few less experienced recruits, many of whom look up to you, in case you were not aware. Good, I knew you would understand. Hasi can apprise you of the details. When the task is complete, come and find me at the observatorium. Captain Ilbard and I are meeting there to discuss the latest development in his investigation. Temple Knights shall hold Snowcloak in our absence. Let us leave them to their work. Ours is more pressing. Sweet. There you are, Demon Lord. Commander Olivier instructed me to wait for you. Your assistance is most welcome, believe me. Most of the third hail from Uldal, and for a man accustomed to the feel of sand beneath his boot, the crunch of snow can be rather disconcerting. But to the matter at hand, nary a moment ago, I received word that the heretics we seek have been spotted making for Danafiran Pass. My braves are already in pursuit. I should be grateful if you would join them. I myself shall be taking part in the hunt. Never let it be said that I do not earn my coin. Alright, Widow. That calls balls. My ankles is on fire. Caught my boot on a rock or something and twisted it as I fell. The others went on ahead through Danafiran Pass. Hurry and you might catch up. If you aren't sure where to go, look for the tracks. The snow is fresh, so they shouldn't be too hard to find. Tracks lead southeast. Scion, what are you doing here? The heretics? I'm not sure. There was a great scald beast and Yuhash, I think he went east on his own. The heretics split up. So we did too. Your little dozed feet and everything were in the tracks as well. Alright, you may be mad. Just because I can. How embarrassing. I was so intent on following the heretics' tracks that I almost failed to notice that they had doubled back. Almost, mind you. One tried to sneak up behind me and got a knife in the gut for his troubles. I thought myself alone, so I started searching the dead man's knapsack for anything of interest. And ion behold, before his friends found me, I came upon this. Withdraw in groups of 3 or less to the observatorium. Give the signal and wait. The merchant will be watching. Be late and be left for dead. Speaks for itself, does it not? They can't possibly mean to rendezvous inside the place, so we should restrict our search to the surrounding areas. Let me rephrase that. You should restrict your search to the wilderness around the observatorium. I will need more than a moment's rest to recover from these wounds. I am through with listening to your excuses. We leave now. How the woods are crawling with those blue coats, and the knights are searching every wagon that passes through the gates. Well, stay with him then, if you think you'll fare any better. Now, there's no need for that. There are places like this in my homeland. Sacred snow-capped peaks, where blood must not be shed. Yet your lands ever thirst for the blood of the fallen, and by your deeds it has drunk deep. No, I have done nothing wrong. None but meet in secret with heretics. Deny it all you will, we shall have the truth from you yet. Inquisitors are not the only ones skilled in the art of interrogation. Damn it all. Damn right. Fancy meeting you here, Demon Lord. I presume your work with the Third brought you hither? What a tangled web. Lest you wonder, we came not for the heretics, but for the merchant who has been conspiring with them. He came to our attention during the course of our investigation into the Ivy. It beggars belief, I know, but it seems our favorite Garlean spy may have been providing assistance to Iceheart. Were it not for the efforts of Lady Yuguri and her shinobi, we might never have discovered this connection. Master Alfnun is too kind. I fear my people, and I have done little to aid your search for the spy. We long to strive back against the Empire and weaken their influence in this land, to prevent the tragedy which befell Dama from reoccurring. The days ahead and the work they promise will require a very particular set of skills which I am fortunate enough to possess. If you will allow it, I would accompany you until the investigation is complete. This is the most generous offer, Lady Yuguri, and one which I gladly accept. Thank you. Though I may disappear for a time, know that I shall never be far, and shall always be watching. A comforting thought. Come, Demon Lord, let us wait inside for Captain Ilbard to return and deliver his report. Captain Ilbard seemed confident that the merchant's resolve would swiftly crumble when pressed. If so, we should have new information ere long. As to whether it will bring us any closer to learning the Ivy's identity, I would rather not say. Given our adversary's cunning, I shall consider us fortunate if we are spared another wild doo-doo chase. The gods know we have more than enough to occupy our time as well. Captain Ilbard, report, if you will. Hey, Commander, firstly, with regard to the heretic we captured, I regret to say that the men could tell us not that we did not already know of Shiva. We have since handed him over to the Ishgardian authorities. Henceforth, the Holy See will pursue the matter independently. Our inquiries concerned the Ivy, however, have proven more fruitful. We have ascertained the channel by which the heretics acquired their information on the shipment routes. Go on. You will recall the flame we first identified as being the Ivy's employ. From him, we were able to trace a trail of conspirators, each taking us closer to his master. Alas, the trial came to an abrupt end. Fearing that the investigation had been compromised, we took the necessary steps of detaining all suspected of conspiracy. There were 5 on our list, including a flame station at Revenant's Toll. The man's primary duty was to keep an inventory of donations from abroad, the particulars of which he would share with benefactors, thereby ensuring the needs did not go unfulfilled. By virtue of his role, he was privy to the details of all shipments bound to the settlement. Needless to say, that includes those originating from House Fourtense. He knew the precise route the caravan would take, and he sold that information to a merchant. I think I can guess which one. None other. With a little encouragement, he soon confessed to knowingly aiding and abetting the heretics. Well, that is one mystery solved at least, but what of the Ivy? Are we any closer to prizzing off his mask? I dare say we are, Commander. Our relentless pursuit has forced him to commit a grave error. In a desperate bid to cover his tracks, the Ivy resorted to exercising certain administrative powers available only to high-ranking members of the Immortal Flames. If you consider, then, that our investigation is known to bury a handful of them, the field of suspects is greatly narrowed. You mean to say that the agent is among Raban's innermost circle? Someone who has been with him since the Immortal Flames establishment? Is the most plausible explanation. The infiltration likely occurred during the company's founding, when the groundwork for the act being laid beforehand. To slip into a position of authority unremarkable and remain above suspicion all these years. I too was surprised, though I really should not have been. Of the three grand companies, Old Dolls was ever the most vulnerable to infiltration. Both Linza Laminza and Gradania have long-standing armed forces that lend themselves well to the formation of the Maelstrom and the Order of Twin Adder. To all intent and purposes, it was the same people, loyal ones, mine under the same leadership, only the banner was different. Not so the Flames. Uldal's military was made up of desperate orders, most of which were glorified mercenary companies that answered only to their own paymasters. Hardly an ideal environment in which an establish something as high-minded as a grand company. The difficulties Raban faced when founding the Immortal Flames are well known. Even after he had convinced his fellow syndicate members to share the cost, there remained the small matter of finding enough bodies to fill the ranks. Indeed, in given the pressing nature of the immortal threat, that meant recruiting every passing sellsword. Amidst the chaos of its founding, it would have been child's play to infiltrate the company. A good deal easier than now, eh? The Immortal Flames have ever caught between conflicting interests, the public and the private. Though the monstrosities ultimately agreed to support the organization's funding, 'twas not out of charity that they did, but simply self-preservation. Had Neil Van Dar's ambitions been any less apocalyptic, you may be sure that they would never have risked supplying Raban with an army. 'Tis but a wonder they did not attempt to extinguish the flames the moment the danger had passed. Ahem. Returning to the present. Even as we speak, our Doman allies are shadowing several high-ranking flame, any one of whom could be the Ivy. Desiring to deal a blow against the Empire, the refugees were eager to lend us their aid. I expect to hear from them ere long. Very good. Pray continue your investigation with the first. Meanwhile, have the second attend to the unrest. The third can join the fourth in inspecting crystal shipments. If they notice anything unusual, I want them to know about it. If Shiva is summoned in like manner to the primals, the heretics will be looking for further supplies. Understood, Commander. I shall send word to Sir Emeric, informing him of our success in identifying the heretics. Better, hopefully, the information will be of some use to the Ishgardians. It is time, Commander. Yes, I am aware. An emergency council of the Alliance leadership has been called. There have been developments in Garlemald and it would seem, as commander of the Crystal Braves, my presence has been requested. I would have you accompany me, Demon Lord, as the realm's stoutest champion. 'Tis only met that you be present in the discussion. Oh, and the antecedent has already given her consent, lest you worry. Woo. Like me, you are doubtless eager to conclude our business with Iceheart, but until another path to her sanctum is found, she will remain beyond our reach. Minfilia and the Archons are sparing no effort to secure an alternative route. Until such time as they succeed, I suggest we give some thought to the realm's other problems. I shall go ahead to Gridania in readiness for the coming council. Meet me at Nofika's altar, and we shall make our way to the Lotus Stand together. The Alliance leaders await you at the Lotus Stand. Will you be joining them now?
Change has come to the Garlean Empire, and we must discuss the implications.
The rumors are true, then? The War of Succession is ended?
It is. A new emperor reigns in Garlemald.
Who?
The birth and all too rapid expansion of the Garlean Empire is commonly attributed to the strategic brilliance of Solus Zosgalvis, yet he did not rule alone. Several members of the royal household also distinguished themselves during his reign. Nevertheless, it was the eldest son who stood to inherit the throne, until his most untimely passing.
I thought us fortunate when I learned that the Emperor had died without naming a successor.
Would that the Garlean Empire had died with him.
Twas the grandson and his uncle who had the strongest claims, was it not?
Indeed, yet claims count for little without the power to assert them. High Legatus Varus Ye Galvus is a respected military leader, not so his uncle.
So young Varus has torn the crown from his uncle's grasp and taken his place at the head of the Empire.
Given the troubled nature of his succession, the new emperor will require time to seal his grip on power. Yet have no doubt but that he shall, for there are none left with strength enough to oppose him.
Since the success of Operation Archon, the remnants of the 14th Legion and the forces occupying Alamigo have done naught but fortify their positions. But you can be sure they'll be ready to march on us again, if their Emperor gives the word.
When, not if. They say this Varus was so set upon Eorzean annexation that he spoke out against the Meteor Project.
Plainly, the new Emperor's intentions are of great concern to us all. I propose that we set aside the Cartano dispute for the present, and discuss what measures the Alliance might take to prepare for a resumption of hostilities with Garlemald. Moreover, I move that we re-examine the question of how our former allies in Ishgard might be persuaded to retake their place at our side. Could Eorzea but stand as one, 'twould deal a grave blow to our enemies' ambitions.
Well, I suppose we should be grateful that they have finally acknowledged the inevitability of Imperial attack. Who knows? They may even do something about it. If only the leaders of Ishgard would follow their example and stop hiding behind their gates, praying for the coming storm to pass them by. But that is a discussion for another time. At present, I am more concerned by the fact that the Alliance's mooted preparations will be made known to the Garleans many moons before their coming. So long as the Ivy eludes our grasp, no secret is safe.
It will not have escaped your notice that the nations of Eorza are no nearer to being of one purpose, despite their protestations to the contrary. Plainly, the threat of a resurgence Garlemald is not enough to stir them. And the reason for this, deep-rooted mistrust amongst the citizenry. The nation's leaders can come to all the understandings they like, but their unity means little unless to the common folk. Take the Lemenzans, for example. Though Admiral Merwin outlawed piracy over a decade ago, foreigners still picture the nation as a haven for grog swilling, wood-legged cutthroats. And likewise, the Gradanians are mocked as hermits who talk to trees, and the Uldans scorn as swindlers who worship coin. Not that such sentiments are entirely without grounds, of course. Take that pillar of Uldal's society, Telegi Eladegi, for example. But that is besides the point. The fact is that the people are wary of outsiders, whether they have cause to be or not. On that basis, one could argue that the conflict at Cartanu is a necessary evil. Each nation has its own warmongering faction that advocates the acquisition of Omega. In order to placate them, we present them something resembling warfare, and thereby curb their appetite for full-scale conflict. But enough idle musing. Let us speak of a more pressing matter, the Ivy. Since we spoke at the Observatorium, Captain Ilberd had further shortened his list of suspects, and by happy coincidence, the one he deemed the most likely candidate is lately come to Gradania. The hunt's near its end. Demon Lord. All that remains is the corner of Quarrymen. Seek out Ildebard near the Adder's Nest. He will give you the particulars. Should there be any developments in Corthius, you may be sure that I will send word without delay. In the meantime, I wish you success in apprehending the Ivy. My thanks for coming, Scion. Doubtless the commander has informed you, but we have unmasked the Ivy. From this point on, we must proceed with extreme caution. Listen well, the spy we have been seeking all this time is none other than Flame Marshal Aline Roelli, Raban's second in command. Prior to joining the Immortal Flames, she was a mercenary of no small renown. They say her skill with a polearm has been seen to be believed. Of Ishgardian birth, she is the highest ranked foreigner in the Immortal Flames, bearing the Flame General himself, of course. When he formed the Grand Company, Raban chose people based on their worth. Whence they hailed was no interest. The Monetrius saw things differently, however. Having founded the enterprise, they reserved the right to reject candidates nominated for high-ranking positions. And 'twas no secret that they did not favor foreigners, Ishgardians especially, after the way the Holy See forsake the Alliance. Yet the Monestrius did not raise so much as a murmur of protest when Roal appointed her to her post. Passing strange, is it not? Could it be that the Ivy has some hold over the Monestrist? But these revelations are secondary to our current mission. Of foremost interest to us is Ralane's presence here now. As you may be aware, it is the duty of the Flame Marshal to command the Immortal Flames in the absence of the Flame General. While Raban attended the Council of Alliance Leaders, she should have remained in the Halls of Flames. The woman has no business being in Gridania, yet she is nonetheless, on some pretense, she is up to something, mark my words. Even as we speak, I have a dozen men trailing the Flames records for evidence of Royal's guilt. But if we can catch her red-handed, we shall have all the proof we need. Which brings me to the plan. I have people watching the city gates, the airship landings, and the docks, every point of egress. She cannot leave without our knowledge. All that remains is to shadow her until she betrays her true purpose. Can I rely upon your eyes, Scion? Of course, of course. You have my thanks. Let us go then and take care not to alert our quarry. Did you go to the Adder's Nest? Morel is headed in the direction of the Blue Badger Gate with me, Scion. So Morel has entered the Carline Canopy, meeting someone perchance, or could it be she means to board an airship? Pray look for her within. If she is not on the upper floor, try landing area below. One of mine is stationed there, and she may have seen something. I don't know how to say that, is her name. I shall remain here in case Royal reappears. Demon Lord Zxennie, such an unexpected pleasure. What brings you here? Ahem, a social visit, you say? How pleasant. No, she didn't come this way. I've noted every passenger, and none bore any resemblance. Well, don't let me keep you. Nowhere to be seen, you say? And you are sure she did not board any airship? Did not come back either. Where in the seventh hells could she have gone? The roast? How could I forget? Greetings, good sir. Might I interest you in some Muay tonic? A cup a day imbues a man with great vigor, if you take my meaning. Hehe. Perhaps another time, friend. Wait, that necklace. You are a shinobi of Doma. The woman you seek has left Gordania by the way of West Shore Pier. She was attired as a merchant, but these eyes are not so easily deceived. You may wish to take your search to the East Road. Rest assured that we shall continue to support you from the shadows. Thank the 12 for the Domans. Were it not for their unique talents, Royal would have disappeared without a trace. Our hunt leads us to the East Road, Scion. I suggest we follow Royal's example and take the ferry from West Shore Pier. You'll doubtless wish to make certain preparations. See to them while I go on ahead. I shall wait for you at Sweet Bloom Pier. This way, my friends. Your quarry makes the Hawthorn Hut. If Ra is truly the one we seek, we can expect that she means to make contact with her Garlean masters there. An explanation is in order. You are no doubt aware the Garleans have their own method of communication over great distances. While our generous friends at Garland Ironworks have provided us with devices which disrupt their communications, and we have installed them around the city-states. In so doing, we have made it difficult for Imperial agents to correspond with their masters. Roel would thus have no choice but to rendezvous with an Imperial contact directly. Yet, as a well-known face in the Immortal Flames, she cannot move about Fenelon without being recognized. It would only be a matter of time before someone saw through her disguise. It is for the reason I believe that she has chosen the Black Shroud for her clandestine meeting. The Elzian are a common sight here, and here comings and goings are not like to turn any heads. As my scouts tell it, the Garleans have sent agents with a mind to destroy the devices and render such direct contact unnecessary. Fortunately, our shinobi have thus far been successful in rebuffering their efforts. This is it. We need only make for Hawthorne's hut and catch Roal in the act. My people report that our quarry has departed for Bramble Patch. The ivy returns to the gnarls whence she came, but perhaps it is all for the better. To convict someone of her standing, we will require damning evidence against her. What could be better than to catch her in the act when she meets with her Garlean masters? My countrymen and I shall lay in wait in the shadows. Tread warily, my friends. Just beyond Roal is in a conversation with an individual clad in the manner of an adventurer, an imperial emissary, no doubt. This is it with me. Flame Marshal Alina Roal, you are under arrest for treason and espionage. You were followed, you bloody fool. Damnation. You are unarmed, my lady, and scarcely garbed for battle. But if you wish to fight, you are welcome to try. What is the meaning of this, Captain? Would you arrest me for strolling in the Twelveswood? When last I looked, that was no crime, and neither was conversing with passing strangers. You would feign ignorance, then. Very well. If you do think of something to say, there will be plenty of time to say it later. Now come quietly, or I shall make you wish you had. I will offer you no struggle. After all, I have naught to hide. Even a warrior of Roel's renown could not have hoped to escape by force. Despite her claims, her surrender does not bespeak innocence, but an awareness that her position is unattained. With the ivy thus uprooted, it is to be hoped that the tendrils entwined around the immortal flames will gradually wither and die. Mayhap the people of Odal will have the grand company they deserve, but let us speak of the present. If I may ask, what will you do now, Demon Lord? Shall the Scions seek a way into Iceheart's sanctum? Then I dare say you are eager to return to the Rising Stone. Pray do not let me keep you. Fear not, my countrymen and I shall tend to the aftermath. You need not waste your talents here. And speaking of talents, have you considered training in the art of the shinobi? You have the aptitude for it, I believe so. Please give it some thought. Till next time, my friend. I think big. Welcome back, Demon Lord. I understand that Ophanon has a task for you. May I ask what it is? Charges of treason and espionage against Oin Roali. I scarce believe it. Could there not have been some manner of misunderstanding? No, it avails us not to dwell on it. Whatever the truth may be, we must trust to the authorities to uncover it. Let us speak of another matter. I am pleased to report that we have made progress in the efforts to find a way into Iceheart's sanctum. As you may recall, Iceheart used the Aetheryte in the depths of Snowcloak to teleport a short distance to the west, most likely to a sanctuary of some description. It is there that we suspect she means to summon Shiva, using the crystal she stole from the House Fortemp's caravan. The heretics believe that they are bringing about the second coming of their patron saint. But if, as we suspect, they mean to hold a summoning ritual of the kind employed by the beast tribes, it seems likely that the result will be something more akin to a primal. Suffice it to say, they must be stopped, and stop them we shall. But first, we must surmount the obstacle of that Iceheart has placed in our path. Ordinarily, it would be a simple matter to tap into the established Ethernet and thereby follow our quarry. However, despite our best efforts, we have been unable to ascertain the position of the Aetheryte to which she teleported. Our prevailing theory is that she destroyed the second Aetheryte upon arrival, a reckless, desperate measure, but also an effective one. After discussing the matter at length, Ranger, we have concluded that we lack the expertise to develop a solution, which is why we call upon the aid of one who does possess such expertise, a colleague of ours who is currently en route to Revenant's Toll from Sholarian. She should be arriving within an hour, in fact. Since you are here, mayhap we could welcome her together. I am certain she would appreciate the gesture. Let us make our way to the northern gate and await her coming.
Minfilia, am I right?
None other. I bid you welcome to Revenant's Toll, and thank you for traveling so far on such short notice.
As if I could ever say no to Urianger.
Moonbreeder is an accomplished Sharlayan scholar, and an authority on aetherite technologies. She has played an invaluable role in our search for a means to capture Ascian souls.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Let us return to the Rising Stones at once, then we have much to discuss.
Moon! Gods, it's been ages!
Oh, longer, sister.
A joyous reunion indeed.
Well, of course it is. Moon and I are like twin sisters.
Save in appearance and aptitude.
Everyone, if I could have your attention. We have with us an esteemed guest who has come from Sharlayan to assist us. I bid Moonbreeder join us here that she might share with us her extensive knowledge of aetherites. Also, as many of you are already aware, she has been overseeing our research into white auracite, a sample of which she has been good enough to bring with her.
Well, I had to come, didn't I? You'd have to be bloody daft to turn your nose up at a chance like this. Where better to conduct my final tests than a land so steeped in ether you can taste it?
'Tis plain the passage of the years hath done little to dampen thy youthful spirits. And nothing at all to reform thy youthful manner.
Urianger, where in the hells have you been hiding?
Unhand me.
I come all this way, and that's what you have to say to me. I much preferred when you were pleading with me to drop everything and hurry to your side. What was it you said? None save thee can satisfy this need.
Go on. Thine artless attempts to misrepresent mine all too innocent motives do thee little credit. Mine intent, as well thou knowest, was but to impress upon thee the gravity of the circumstance. Lest thou doubt, a deiform entity shall shortly be summoned, save if thou and no other grantest my compeers thine aid.
You still haven't found it, then? You're missing Aetherite.
We have not. No. We know that Iceheart teleported to an Aetherite not far from the first. Yet even after careful analysis, we could not locate the second beacon. We now suspect that the heretics destroyed the second Aetherite to impede our pursuit. Our allies continue to scour Snowcloak for Iceheart's sanctuary, but we have no guarantee that they will find it. Yet it must be found, for even now Iceheart prepares to call upon Saint Shiva.
I'm sorry, but if the Aetherite's been destroyed, then that's that. Although, you're absolutely sure she used the first Aetherite, are you? She didn't just use teleportation magics?
One of our own bore witness to her escape. I can say with absolute certainty that Iceheart used the Aetherite.
In that case, there might be a way, so long as the ethereal current is still flowing.
Truly? How?
We use the current to recreate the beacon. As you know, Aetherites are a bit like lighthouses. We use them to reconstitute our physical forms when crossing the ethereal sea. Without them, we'd lose all sense of direction and our essence would dissipate. However, we don't rely solely on these beacons. There are currents of ether which flow between them, currents which help guide us to our destination. Now, these currents will gradually dwindle away to nothing if an Aetherite is destroyed. But if even a sluggish flow remains, we could theoretically use it to direct a surge of concentrated ether towards the void left by the beacon, and thereby fill it up again.
Like opening the floodgates to fill a dry riverbed. Though, correct me if I'm wrong, but would we not need a veritable reservoir of ether?
In concert, we might manage to channel a sufficient volume, yet that is not my chief concern. To direct the flow of so great a volume of ether with the requisite precision would be a nigh impossible task in itself.
I barely succeeded in facilitating travel to an unattuned beacon. That which you describe sounds considerably more difficult.
And dangerous. Every person who has attempted to teleport in this fashion has died in the process. They, however, did not have wide aura sight at their disposal. I can use it to channel all the ether you can give me into the Aetherite. However, White Aura Sight cannot retain ether for an extended period of time, so we would need to infuse it immediately beforehand. Just so you know, I'd confidently give this plan better than even odds of success. And if the worst comes to worst, your people won't suffer.
Though it risked the lives of our best and brightest, we have not the time to seek other options. If the ethereal current still flows, we shall carry out Moonbreeder's plan.
That's the spirit. Let's roll the dice.
I've already informed Alphanod of our plan to recreate the beacon in the manner I can't say her name, described. He agreed that despite the inherent danger, it represents our only hope of success. He also said that he wished to meet with you at Snowcloak before proceeding. I expect you will find him waiting for you there when you arrive. I want you to know that I appreciate everything you have done on our behalf, Demon Lord, and that I have faith that you will return to us as you always have. Good to see you, Demon Lord. I was starting to wonder if you were having second thoughts. Captain Ilbert sends his regards, by the way. He attends to the interrogation of Alain Royal and Udal even as we speak. But I shall not distract you from the matter at hand. We can discuss the ivy upon your return. I trust that, by which I mean to say, ahem, the others are waiting for us at the Aetheryte after you, Scion. There, it's ready. Ah, it worked, I think. Try attuning to the Aetheryte now. Feel for the current and try to locate the beacon. We have done all we can, Demon Lord. For now, let us withdraw. When your final preparations are complete, you must seek out the beacon we have created. If by the grace of the 12 you arrive safely, you must stop Iceheart before she summons Shiva. Bless you. We cannot ignore the possibility that our actions have alerted Iceheart to our plans. Should that be the case, she may attempt to hasten the completion of the summoning ritual, and if she succeeds, you will have little choice but to face Shiva in battle. Knowing little of this saint, I cannot say if your strength will suffice, and so I will encourage you to call upon your allies. Some may have reservations about wagering their lives on the success of Moen's experiment, but others will surely agree that desperate times call for desperate measures. Before you assemble your party, pray speak with that knight. I believe he has a message for you from Sir Emeric. Sir Emeric regrets that he could not be here in person and asks that I read to you this letter. Ahem. Ishgard faces an unprecedented threat, yet in our hour of need, it is not her knights who stand poised to defend her, Demon Lord Zxennie, the warrior of light, savior of Eorza. Your deeds this day shall not be forgotten. Where others would flee, you chose to remain. Where others would falter, you rise to the challenge. Where others would use their gifts for selfish ends, you wield yours and serve to a greater cause. May Halone bless you with good fortune and see you safely home. Oh, okay, so now we can do that one in a heart.
Never have come here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down. We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more. Oh, Saint Shiva, still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
Just putting another one of these under my belt. You're making me even a more badass character. Thank you. Shit. Okay, that didn't hurt too bad. Couldn't see the circle in the middle. The best you had? Sorry to tell you, but that's not enough. You're done. And you're done. Make sure you check out W. Use code zxennie_.
Fool. Blind, bloody fool.
Fool. 'Tis well. 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 '
You, of all people, should understand the suffering war begets. That no sacrifice is too great if it brings an end to the violence. Mine is the righteous cause.
It was the wrong cause.
You fight in a war you do not understand. A pawn of liars and schemers. And they are no less ignorant than you, following the creed of their fathers without question, never thinking to ask why. Trapped in a delusion of their own creation, and blind to the truth. Warrior of light, redemption is not beyond us. We who walk before may lead those who walk after. Seek the Keeper of the Lake. See with eyes unclouded. Do not squander Mother's gift.
And so the vessel withdraws, a predictable outcome. Nevertheless, La Habrea will be pleased. How unfortunate.
By the 12, you're alive. I mean, of course you're alive. Why wouldn't you be? Iceheart did what? And you're certain about that, are you? Uvanians are skilled with glamours, after all. Look, if you say that's what you saw, I believe you. It's just that I've never heard of a primal being summoned like that before. Are you sure you're not injured? Head trauma has been known to cause hallucinations, you see. No? Fair enough. I was only asking. If you ask me, there's not to be gained from mulling over the implications of your story in the freezing cold. Let's save it for the Rising Stone, say. I'll get everyone to meet us there. But before that, you have best pay a visit to White Brimfront and speak with Elfnod. He's probably worried sick about you. That or he's busy playing at politics with his guardians. Either way, I'm sure he'll be delighted to see you hale and healthy. Speaking of which, you don't have a headache or anything, do you? No? Blurred vision? Oh, no reason. See you again soon. Oh. There he is. And none the worse from where. Was there ever any doubt that the Warrior of Light would succeed? I think I speak for all of us when I say I should like nothing more than to hear the stirring tale of your victory if you would be so kind. Then we were too late to prevent the summoning. But not too late to prevent further loss of life, an outcome worthy of a celebration. And one for which we have Demon Lord to thank. Yes, you are right, of course, Sir Amic. We should be content with what we have accomplished. I, for one, could not have wished for a better outcome. Shiva is no longer a threat, and the heretics have been rooted. There is the matter of Iceheart's escape, but she cannot run forever, whether it takes days, weeks, moons, or even years. My knights will find her. In the meantime, Lord Gillamont, is the caravan ready? The supplies that your men recovered have been prepared for transportation in accordance with your wishes. Rest assured that my knights will see them safely to Revenantstall. Of that I have no doubt. I take it that these are the self-same supplies the heretics stole from the house Fortem's caravan. Less the crystals which compromised the bulk of the shipment, yes, scarcely a fraction of that which was promised, but a meaningful contribution to your cause all the same. Oh, an unrelated note, Demon Lord. Might I trouble you to accompany me to Camp Dragonhead at your earliest convenience? 'Tis not for my benefit. A certain lord was most distressed when he learned of your intent to risk life and limb to stop Iceheart. It took half a dozen knights to restrain him, I am told. Men give vent to their anxieties in myriad ways. Pray do not think less of him. What were you thinking, Demon Lord? Wagering your very best, your very being on a dubious theory which might allow you to enter Iceheart's lair, knowing full well that she could have sufficient forewarning to complete her ritual to summon Yeshiva anyway? And then engaging the abomination in mortal combat by the fiery Demon Lord. 'Tis the stuff of Ballards, a battle of the ages. Would I had been there to fight by your side. Yet here I was forced to wait, condemned to wonder at the fate of a dear friend, for a veritable entity. I would not wish such torture on my most hated enemy. But you are here now, and that is what truly matters. Let us move on. Sir Emeric wish to have words with you and Master Alphonse in private. He awaits us in the intercessory. Greetings, sir. Shall I show you in at once?
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks. Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Natalan.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment. Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy. You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now. And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We too have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Sir Emeric, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgard-Zoma could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Choose your next words carefully.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am. Now, why do you suppose that is? Because I swiftly learned to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget, one born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second-in-command will speak for me.
Lucia, at your service. Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind. For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences. Those who dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone. Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you. Which reminds me, Lord Orchefort, if you would be so kind?
Certainly.
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem. The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?